Once again, congratulations on this. It's been a very entertaining watch.
Thank you.
It's a very unique piece. Where did the idea for this come from?
For me personally, I've always enjoyed. I'd class the film as a rural horror film. So we explore themes like demonology, witchcraft, paganism, and these themes and the relationship with the rural countryside. So I've always been inspired by the older movies like Hammer horror, movies like that, Witchfinder General, Wicker Man. So yeah, that was my inspiration, I guess.
I really enjoy the pacing of this because it doesn't throw a lot of things at you at once. It makes sure that you are keeping up with the storyline. How did that come about? How did you, decide on the way the pacing was going to be for this movie?
Randy, do you want to?
Yeah, I'll take that. I think, just like Chris said, the influences of the old Hammer horror films, the old school kind of, Wicker Man was a really good inspiration. Witchfinder General, where the pacing was kind of is a very deliberate pace, and that's kind of what I was going for. Like in something sort of in lines The Exorcist or things like that, where it's really mood over style, and that was kind of the inspiration were those old Hammer horror films where it's completely driven just by the mood and just by the pacing of it. So that was kind of what I was going for all along.
Yeah, and with the main character as well. I've always enjoyed writing, characters who are fundamentally flawed. So the main character is a hitman, obviously. He's got a gambling addiction. And we sort of follow his journey. And he has to come face to face with his own morality, his own choices. So that I always find, those sort of characters really interesting to write. Flawed characters.
Definitely, and your cast is incredible in this. They have to capture the audience attention quite quickly because there's so many characters that come into this. How happy are you with this cast?
Yeah, I mean, Ben Silver did an amazing job. He was the guy who played Mickey Santini, the hitman in the movie. This was, I think, his third feature. So obviously when we put the casting call out, we'd get about 200 applications. So my role then would be to go through all those show reels, draw up a short list. And then we'd look at, obviously, is there chemistry with the lead actresses and all those things I have to consider. But yeah, Ben Silver, he was a standout. I thought he did a really great job. Really understood the character, the motivations. And yeah, he's really believable as a hitman, I feel. He comes across as very confident, self-assured, but also he's that sort of actor that it's a lot of empathy within him, if that makes sense. So the audience can sense what he's feeling. It's very difficult as an actor to do that, to let the audience in without saying a lot. He's very good at that, I think.
Yeah, Ben was great to work with. He's very good. Amber as well, and
yep.
And Amanda, everybody. Yeah, everyone was really fun and really got into it and kind of went along with the journey, and it made it all the better for it, So yeah, I agree. Ben's very, very brooding, and he works really well with the character. So
yeah, we're really happy.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
No, yeah, I was just going on from what Randy said. We're very happy with all the actors involved in the project. They brought their A game. Yeah. No drama, just got on with it, understood the characters. Yeah, fantastic. We got really lucky with these guys. So yeah, Amanda Himsworth, Ben Silver, Amber Doig-Thorne did a great job. Yeah.
Definitely. And with a lot of indie horror films, especially, there's a lot of obstacles in making them. This is quite unique. So, what were some of the obstacles in making this feature?
I think because when I write the scripts myself and I produce the films, so that means I've got complete control over the whole process. I think a lot of filmmakers, the problems start to arise if you're buying in scripts, for example, and it's going to be way out of budget. You're looking. It's best I choose like 1 or 2, 3 locations, a handful of really good actors, and then I write the story around that. So that way I know what budgets I need to raise. So that's where the pre-production really starts for me when I'm writing the script, obviously. And then once I've got the location knocked down, everything else sort of falls into place. And over the years, I've built up a really good team. Randy's a great director. We've got a great cinematographer, sound recordist, the PAs, the focus puller, all these guys I've worked with before. So over time, you build that really good team, that trust, and you become like brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? It's like a real family. So then you go into each project with confidence. When I started out like 6 years ago, I quit my day job, started crowdfunding full time. I think the first crowdfund I raised about $800 or something like that in a month. Now I'm raising, 100,000 in 6 weeks. So I'm just building that whole network slowly but surely with each new project. And it's going really well. Yeah.
For Randy, like once again, the pacing and the acting, mesh together so well. But the camera work, everything seems so intimate in this camera work. What kind of direction do you give to the actors, to the camera people, in order to get that kind of feel?
Well, I think going back to the last question about kind of how the obstacles, the fact that, the whole thing takes place basically in a house kind of dictated a lot of the camera work and the acting, because it was all very intimate. We were in this house in the middle of Devon, in the countryside of the UK, no internet, no phone service. So we were completely isolated, and that absolutely helped kind of dictate the pacing and the mood of the film, because we were kind of in that world, you know what I mean? So, and even Ben was staying the DP and a few other people were actually staying at the house overnight, and, it got really cold and all that. And so it kind of dictated the mood and kind of dictated the camera work. It's a smaller house in the middle of the UK. So there weren't a lot of wide angle shots that we could do specifically. So we had to kind of keep it intimate. And also we were, just like with all indie films, we were kind of really tight schedule. So we just had to go in and get it done. And the actors were game with it, and they went with it. And that's kind of, so that our surroundings kind of dictated a lot of that. A lot of the pacing and the cinematography of it, and the acting as well, just that kind of rushed energy, that we needed for it.
Yeah, and also because, like Randy says, the film was shot in the centre of beautiful Devonshire countryside. So, when we're on low budgets with independent films, if you've got beautiful countryside, you've got to make full use of that because it's free, and we've got this gorgeous scenery we were surrounded by, and Randy did a great job, capturing that on screen. So yeah, that was a definite bonus as well.
Awesome. And what I really love about horror is that it brings in aspects of our reality and takes it to an extreme, much like this film does with human trafficking. What was the idea behind putting that in? What do you hope people will continue thinking about well after watching this movie?
Yeah, obviously it's a very serious subject, and not to make light of it, but obviously being a horror film, we touch upon that. We don't really explore that in any great depth. It's from our point of view, the fact that we're talking about human trafficking now in these interviews, and the interviews are coming up, that's always a positive, because it raises awareness. Whether people love the film or hate the film, we're getting the subject out there. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a bigger deal than people realize, the human trafficking. It's in the news and everything. So it's kind of apropos, I guess, for the times to put that in.
Definitely. Well, thank you both very much for your time. It is a great film to watch. It's very enjoyable.
Thank you.
And once again, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having us.